Hey everyone, I'm Danielle Byington, your English instructor in this composition class. In this video, I'm going to be talking you through doing the aesthetic response essay. I think the first question that often comes up, since I have been assigning this particular essay for 8 years now as I am recording this video, um, is why. Why do I have to write about art? I'm not an art history major. I'm not an art student. Because this is a great outlet for practicing descriptive writing. And you might think, well, okay, but I already know how to describe things. It's not just about being descriptive, it's about being descriptive without using biased language. You'll see that in one of the requirements I'll talk about in the essay assignment. Okay, so on this page, I'm just starting right here on my homepage. I'm going to use one of my sections of Composition 1 as an example. So just to kind of reorient you, we're going to click on Content. Remember, I have mentioned we have units here. So we just finished Unit 1 about the narrative response, narrative and personal experience. Uh, all of these, as we are going throughout the semester, the narrative voice, the aesthetic response voice, cultural intersections, and definition. This is all four pieces of a puzzle that you get to take in your pocket when we are done with the classes. One thing in your toolbox going forward. That all four pieces of this can help you write things in any other class you are involved in. You can also use it when you are doing spoken presentations, anything like that. All four pieces of this can be and are integrated into various aspects of your college career and also things you end up doing later in life in like your real jobs in the real world. Okay, so in the aesthetic response module, so when I am here, now just like before in the narrative unit, when we click on this, we have the two sub modules that pop up where all of our materials are. So we've got the assignment materials in the first one. That's what I have right here at the top. The assignment is right there at the top. You have a sample. You have some other little example things of people talking about art that could be helpful for you to hear how they break it down, the kinds of things they say about the particular paintings they're talking about. Okay, so I'm going to the assignment itself now. Overall, the biggest part of this idea is that you're going to choose one of these four paintings that I have here. When you click on it, you can see what it looks like, but you probably also want to read a little bit about it before you commit to it in case you pick it because you're like, okay, this looks interesting. And then you start learning about it and you're like, I am not down with this. This is annoying. Um, Look ahead a little bit before you make a decision, okay? Because let's say even Van Gogh's sunflowers, you think I'm going to write about a pretty vase of sunflowers. If you know anything about the biography of Van Gogh, it might not all be happy and sunshine. So that's the overall idea. You want to pick which one you want to write about. I have an outline for you to follow in this particular assignment. So you're going to have an introduction section. And in the introduction section, this would be a good time to practice, lead in with that narrative voice where you're talking about a particular experience. Now, you don't have to write about your own personal experience because maybe you've never seen this painting before in your life, but you can create a scenario for the audience. You tell them, imagine that this and that happens, and this person sees this painting in an art gallery, and it reminds them of this and that in their life. Like you're kind of painting a story for the audience to make it a relatable situation. Okay, then you're going to have a section about some background information, biography of the artist, some details, the background about the painting. What's the history? Let's say, for example, both the Ophelia and the Olympia painting have models in them in which we have some information about their life, and that might be very intriguing for you to write about. Then the most crucial part, we are going to have a literal description of that painting. You're not going to say, so and so has painted this beautiful, excellent painting. No, we are not using biased, subjective words or language. You're just going to describe what is there. It's okay to use adjectives, the subjective language, which I have down here in the requirements of what you cannot use and cannot say, words like good, bad, pretty, ugly. When people say something like, the movie was terrible, or that football game was great, that's subjective. It's from your perspective and where you come from in life. That's all about the individual instead of like what makes this accessible to the collective of society. Like, why does this matter? And that leads into the third section of your outline. So what? This is the first time in this class you're going to start visually practicing answering the question, so what, in an essay. So what? Like, why would we write about this? Why does it matter? Why is it important? What is relatable about this? Why do we still talk about it? Why is this painting worth millions of dollars? Why do we put it in a building like a museum and have security everywhere protecting it? Why do protesters go and use it as an example for what they want to protest against? They use it as a tool in their voice by going and trying to destroy it. Like, why is it so valuable to culture in general? All right. And then in your requirements, you're going to need to practice having a thesis statement somewhere in the end of your introduction. I'm not picky about it being exactly at the end. I'm lenient about that, but this is where I want to start seeing you practice having an argument in there so we can start exercising making those strong and make sense. Okay, and then besides the stuff about don't use subjective language, the most important part of this is that we are also practicing quoting or paraphrasing from sources. I give you two sources. No matter which painting you pick, I provide those in D2L, and you must quote or paraphrase at least once from both of those in your paper. So I'm going back here into the unit itself. So let's say you choose to write about Jackson Pollock's Blue Poles. When I click on that, I mean, all of those, as you saw, clearly say, this is for this painting, this is for that painting. So you know exactly where you need to find these. There they are. So depending on which painting you choose to write about, the source could be from the official National Gallery that owns that painting, or it might be from a prestigious art journal. It just depends on which painting you choose. So you'll click on that, read what it says, take something from that and try to put it in your paper. So we're doing this. Remember, this is all like a steps up the ladder. This is all a scaffolding process that we are building here. So this is the first time you're going to start exercising putting quotes in your papers. All right. So that's all of the details that I want to cover for you for the aesthetic response essay. Just let me know if you need me. Thank you for watching.